Hello, welcome YouTube. I'm having technical difficulties like a motherfucker right now. Jesus. Oh my goodness. Never a smooth start to the stream. I thought I was pretty good this time too. Welcome everyone. I'm gonna just quickly introduce, get the stream rolling, and then I'll bring in our guests. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of editing because, as you can see, I don't, my boxes are all messed up because I had to make an announcement in my Discord, so now I know to do that beforehand. So welcome to the stream, everyone. Today, episode 4 of King's Corner podcast. Today we are going to be featuring Kingdom 1918 with Mr. Todo, and then my man DB. Some of you might know him as Competition on the stream and in chat. So Bears, welcome to the stream. How you doing, my friend? Lambo, welcome to the stream. Relzy, hello. Mr. Ray, welcome to the stream. There he is, Competition. And Lambo, thank you for the $5 super chat. Shots for being late. One for each minute. I don't know if I can handle all that, but let's bring these guys in. Mr. Todo, Mr. DB, welcome to the stream. How we doing? And I did not have you guys opened up on the mic, so you can say hello again because no one heard that.
What's going on?
How's it going, everyone?
Oh my gosh, this is a rough one. I gotta
lighten the mood a little bit.
Yeah, I gotta figure out how to do this real quick without totally messing everything up. So while I try to finagle with my stream a little bit here, so 1918, I guess we can start with Todo or DB, however you guys want. But if you guys want to just do a quick introduction, how long you guys have been playing Rise of Kingdoms, what kingdom you guys have started in, all that good stuff, while I go ahead and start messing around with getting DB back onto the screen.
All right.
So, you want to go first, Todo?
So Todo, if you want to start, yeah.
So I started around 3 years ago when COVID was first starting. So it was in Kingdom 1686, and I started with a college friend of mine, and back then we were big into like anime, so we made an anime-based alliance. From there, we kind of been hopping around kingdoms. At least the first year we did, we went into 1680, where we met DB and basically the core group of our kingdom. Back then, it was with the king in 1680 was Burnaby. Some of you may know him. He was a big whale
Mm.
800 million power by KVK3. So we were with him with one KVK. I think it was KVK2. From there, we kind of had to split into two groups. One of our groups was led by me, and we went to 1804. The other group was with DB, and they went to 1824. So then after that, we all went to 1824. We were there at 2 KVKs, and then we kind of got invited into 1918 to be part of the second alliance. And stuff happened. Everybody kind of left. So we were kind of forced into like the leadership role in 1918. That's how our current leadership came to be.
How did you mentioned you guys had to split up at one point? Why did you guys have to split?
So we kind of got into disagreement with the main alliance, with Burnaby's alliance,
It was a shit show. Yeah.
yeah. So he was kind of having problems, like personal problems. So he wasn't really in charge of the kingdom. It was just leadership.
Mm-hmm.
But they would never really give us questions. Like they literally would cut our territory off and became inactive multiple times around KVK. So we kind of got mad and told them. So they kind of put a target on us. So we ended up deciding to leave. So we had all come to agreement with 1804 to migrate over to them. And I guess there was too many of us, so they kind of didn't want to bring the rest. So a small group joined first. It was like 15 people. They didn't want to increase too much power, so the rest of the people kind of got stuck in 1680.
Mm-hmm.
And then we met Scotty in 1824, and he and Augustus brought us into 1824, like the rest of our group. And weirdly enough, we both managed to be in the same KVK too. So we were allies in KVK too.
Interesting.
And,
Yeah, it was. It was very innocent.
So we all decided, like, after KVK2 to migrate to either 1804 or 1824. And 1824 seemed more relaxed, so we all decided to go to 1824. So that's where we met up. We met back up for KVK3.
Yeah, it's been a rough ride.
As is most people's Rise of Kingdoms journey, I feel like, until like you finally kind of settle into those, places that you can like really call home,
That's where we're at now.
Yeah, every kingdom has had a lot of drama
Mm-hmm.
to some extent.
Yeah, everywhere we've been, we've pretty much gotten the shit end of the stick. It's been like he was saying back in Burnaby's. I mean, I was prior to meeting Todo. That's where I was at, and I wasn't really into the game. It's one of those where you pick up a mobile game, you kind of get the feel of it first, whether you like it or not, and then if you do, obviously you ride it out. Like I played Game of War years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and that turned into a shit show. So I was skeptical about this game, just like that one. But the open field fighting, the territory, all that stuff, the
Mm-hmm.
building. Really, it's this is one of the most well-rounded games as far as a mobile game goes that I've been a part of, and why I'm still playing it and why I still spend money on it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I started before, met up with Todo, and I've pretty much been riding with him ever since I met him. He takes care of our kingdom. He's amazing. I didn't start spending when I first started. I didn't have to, because Burnaby pretty much spent for all of us.
Yeah.
It literally was like every day he bought out the shop. So my VIP level is pretty much because of I had it well before I started spending. But yeah, I mean, the road's been rough, but where we're at now is a really, really good spot.
That makes a lot of sense now why it's been so hard to pull DB, because I've definitely taken my shots at recruiting you. Because
You're definitely not the only one.
well, your archer gear is so sick, man. It's like, how can
But the crazy thing is like I'm people call me an archer main. I can do whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, he has credit gear for every.
I mean, I'll do the screen share and I'll go through it if you want to see it. But I literally could rally cav, rally infantry, garrison. I actually just got the I'm working on a full crit legend leadership set right now.
Jesus. How are your armaments?
They're pretty. That's the only thing I spend money on because
okay.
I mean, everything else right now is pretty much.
Yeah, well, when you have the crit sets and and all that stuff, you don't really.
Well,
need
that's it. Is
anything else.
I got very lucky starting out. I didn't craft a lot of anything.
Okay.
When they first introduced the troop sets, is when I started crafting a bunch, and I had a
lucky
shitload. Yeah, I had a shitload saved up. So, starting out with crafting, I had a head start. Whenever they introduced the troop sets, so that was a big benefit.
Yeah, I remember when they did that actually. And I tell people now too, like those who are just kind of starting out, or like those who have like those slightly newer accounts, like we have a bunch of those in 2581. They're at an advantage almost because number one, there's a lot more pop-ups for these equipments and all that stuff, and just having access to the sets right away and not having to have wasted, crafting materials like back in the day. So a lot of the newer accounts who are starting out are definitely at a little bit of a better advantage in terms of gear. Jer Rufino, welcome to the stream, and also Sen Miliar Lira, welcome to the stream, and also Nugget, welcome to the stream. For those who don't know, maybe so I have a little video clip of my buddy Sasuke from 2293. Maybe we'll do an account review of yours as well, DB, on a video. I still have to put Sasuke's together. But I definitely think that your account is, just from the archer gear alone, it's worth reviewing because it's schmexy.
Yeah, Toto told me I could be a rally lead in any kingdom if I wanted to.
All right, easily.
I'm not leaving here. Or if Toto leaves, I'm leaving with Toto.
So I may have missed it because I was trying to kind of multitask and set up, but you guys kind of landed in 918, correct? You guys didn't set up 918 like on your own?
Correct.
It's kind of a mix of both. So we had 1918 as allies in KVK4, and so the reason we went to 1918 is because it was our first seasonal conquest, so we were kind of new to it, so we're all learning it on the way. And our own kingdom in 1824, like the Third Alliance, they kind of got mad at us for no reason, and they started attacking us during KVK. And so what happened was that they didn't want to be the fifth alliance to join the coalition. They wanted to be the fourth. And I told them, okay, you have to talk to the king so he can talk to them.
Yeah.
So the king didn't even tell him anything. Didn't talk to 1918. They told him no. Toto said no. So the leader of the Third Alliance got mad at us and started attacking us for that reason.
Yeah, mid KVK.
Interesting.
So after KVK, 1918, the leadership we had a pretty I liked them a lot. So we went to 1918, and weirdly enough, after one KVK, they were like, "Oh yeah, we're actually going to KVK 2, all of us." So before
they changed the migration rules, they were like, "You know what? We're getting out of here."
Okay.
So we ended up being in 1918, like the only ones, and back then it was pretty bad. I think we were like 21 billion power, and like our kill points was like 30 billion kill points.
Really
so it was bad.
We were getting into KVKs and just getting shit stoned.
Yeah, the kingdom had just a lot of dead waves.
Yeah, dead
waves. So like I think our first KVK, we had 2 alliances and like only 60 people showed up for Kingsland. Like that's how bad it was.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We had 60 in one and 40 in the other. So 100 combined from 2 alliances that showed up for opening of Kingsland. And needless to say, Kingsland lasted a minute or an hour, and that was it.
Jesus.
Yeah, so after that, we kind of all agreed that we just need to clean out the kingdom. And so I think that's the first time we kind of decided to do that. Like before, we were just kind of like powering up. The more people, the better. But we realized that wasn't really helping us at all. So we've been doing cleanup, KVK contributions based on like war and activity. So that's been helping a lot.
Okay.
We still have more work to do, but we're slowly getting to where we want to be, I think.
So this was after the first season of Conquest for 918, right? So you guys came in and then take it over. So how many KVKs have you guys now done since taking over? Actually, how many KVKs have you guys done in 918 since taking over? And how many, like, would you say were actual KVKs, like after the kind of cleanup and kind of reconstruction that you guys have done?
I think we did 4 or 5, but
yeah, sounds about right.
The ones that we've actually, I think 2 or 3 KVKs we've done a lot of cleanup. We do bring people in, like I do like giving people a chance. We've gotten several people that they started at 200 billion kill points, which was like, you know, that's kind of low. And they showed up. They're over 1 billion kill points now. So like, we do give people a shot. I usually give them 2 KVKs to try to prove themselves. Okay. And if they don't, then I just tell them you have to go. Because for me, it's better to give them the chance to leave and migrate out than zeroing them. Because if you zero them, they're still kind of dead weights in your kingdom. Yeah. You still have all that power left. So that's what we do.
That's an interesting take on it too, because I think we've been here with migrations, like we've definitely noticed like giving people a chance, but we're kind of like cracking down on it a little bit. I think because we were a little fat and we were a C seed and we were trying to drop and all this good stuff. But I think with the room that we have now from to AC, like we're still only like let me see, according to, I haven't done a power scan in a while actually because I have my data guy for it, but like we're still at 13.6. I'm looking on the 1093 now. You guys are 16.2, so there's a 2.6 billion gap between us. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you have like that preset agreement with them, but it definitely is still a risk that you get stuck with those guys. I know you guys had mentioned, we were chatting just before we hopped on live, that you just cleaned up a bit and you guys kind of float in between A and B a little bit. Do you have any tips out there for leadership in terms of getting people to leave peacefully? Because I know just for us in 2581, we've gotten better at it, but there's always still the issue of people going rogue on MGEs and stuff like that. Yeah, when like
that's a problem everywhere. Yeah.
End of the day, we just want them to leave, you know. But it sounds like you guys have been doing some pretty good job on kind of restructuring the kingdom and doing a better job at cleaning up kind of where the previous leadership kind of fell short on that. Do you have any tips out there for leadership in terms of how to appropriately approach cleanups?
Yeah, so what we have an alliance that's just for people that we want to leave. And so one of our leadership guys, Bart, he's handling all that. So what he does is he just tells them, you know, join this alliance. We'll collect your alliance credits. So we do 2 different things. One of them is if they have enough credits to buy passports, then we sell them the passport for resources. If they don't have credits, we kind of tell them, you know, look, if it's possible, go inactive for 30 days. Because if you go inactive for 30 days, your city's removed and your power's removed from matchmaking. So, and then right after KVK starts, you can come back and then continue doing your alliance credits. And then just keep doing that. Like during doesn't affect matchmaking during.
Toto, I think you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, your mic's kind of breaking up. Yeah, I don't hear him. I'll kind of take over. But yeah, like he said, is we ask them to go inactive, so they get removed off the map. They don't affect our matchmaking. And then once we register, and the matchmaking is over, we ask them to come back, and then they can gather up, you know, credits and get the passports that they need to leave. We try to be as lenient and as patient as possible, but obviously you can only wait so long. Yeah. And I'm kind of like the executor, you know. I have people reach out to me because they know once the deadline hits, I'm going to be porting next to him to set the rallies.
Yeah, yeah.
So they reach out, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? And they ask obviously everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We try to give them as much opportunity as they can to migrate because, I mean, it's their game too. They don't play it to the extent that our kingdom would like, which is fine. That's how you do it. That's you. You do you. But if you're going to affect the majority of the kingdom, we're going to ask you to leave. And if you don't listen, then you're going to get 0. But we give them time and opportunity to collect, credits for passports. It's hard because you have people that haven't been on the game for a year and they show up and like, hey, I'm back. And we're like, all right, well, that's where Todo comes in and says, that's fine. You can come back in, play with us. You have, pretty much what they call a probation period where if you don't do what's asked of you, then just like every other kingdom that's trying to be competitive, you're going to get the axe.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. It's difficult for everybody.
Absolutely. Todo, are you there?
Yes.
Okay,
I had a couple of Wi-Fi problems.
All good. I really like that approach of just kind of taking them to the side and saying, hey, look, we want to work with you. We know you need a little bit more time. Go inactive. I've never heard that approach before. Is that successful? Like, do you have people who will just kind of vanish for like a month and then come back into the game and KVK is going on? And that's a very interesting approach.'a never seen that before.
It's not the most. It's not the most popular one, but we have had.
Yeah, so we had a couple of people that quit. So one of our players plays those accounts like to fill and stuff like that because they have a lot of troops. So I used to tell them, you don't really use those accounts unless it's in KVK. Might as well just go inactive and then bring them back during a KVK. And he does. He just doesn't log into them, and their cities disappear, power disappear. We also had 2 people that were on the 0 list or migrate out list that we told them, we can give you another chance if you go inactive. You can come back on July 13 or 14 is when we told them to come back since it's after the registration. And they did. Right now their city's not on the power list. So it has helped to some extent because it's 80 people with 70-80 million power, and it just adds up. If you have 5-6 people, that's 300-400 million power that goes inactive.
Yeah.
So it sheds a little weight from the matchmaking.
You just spurred an idea too, and there's definitely people out there who use this, but I've never thought to do it. I don't know if any of our leadership has thought to do it either. So we're obviously we're a lower seed, and our top 300 power right now is just abysmal. Like it's so hard to manage this. I can't check it out because I'm not in home kingdom right now. But like our bottom of 300 is like 300. Shut up, Ray. But it gives me an idea to. We've had a few people ask, can I bring into my sub account? It's either usually like a 50 68 million power account. You give me an idea that you can kind of work for kingdoms. Like if you have those, like I have an account like that too, and it's pretty loaded with troops. It's pretty loaded with speed ups, and it could afford to go inactive. The only thing it doesn't really have is resources, because I usually farm with it and then send them to myself. But yeah, you could just especially for like a kingdom like us that's a little bit smaller and we don't want to have that impact, we could just bring these accounts in, have a preset agreement with people, be like, look, you can bring in the account, but it has to go inactive, and then once KVK starts, you kick it back up.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to do that because the game's on your phone. So
yeah.
you're sitting there taking a shit. Oh, I just logged in. Oh, well, there we go. There goes your 20-day wait, and now it's back into matchmaking. The problem is matchmaking's such a shit show in this game that I mean, it's there's no set roadmap of okay, here is how we get the matches for KVK.
Yeah.
And also, funny thing is with that is some people that we want to just quit, they go inactive those 30 days and they just forget about the game, so they end up quitting.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like I've come very close to that. Like I went on vacation in October. I was gone for like almost 2 weeks. I was gone for like 10 days, and I was minimally logging onto my account. And when I got back home, I was just like, I don't feel like doing this anymore. Like shit. Like if I wasn't making content, I most likely probably wouldn't have come back, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how people have all these different accounts. I mean, I have one, and I have one in one farm. That's it.
I have over 100.
What?
For matchmaking purposes, I try to look at other kingdoms.
Oh, true.
Yeah, Todo's a brainiac, man. He's a genius. He takes care of this kingdom with information and all that stuff.
Because sometimes the 1093 or the Rockport isn't as accurate because you have dead ways. So there has been, like this previous KVK, there was a kingdom that was showing 300 billion kill points, and I went into, like, I made an account there and they actually had 140, which is like, that's a huge difference. 140 compared to 300.
Yeah.
So it does help a lot with choosing allies, seeing what's going on in the other kingdoms as well, because sometimes you see people that are just arguing all the time in kingdom chat. But it does help a lot have account in other kingdoms.
Wow, that's a nice take too. Just having an account there just to kind of scope out kingdom chat. That's I like that. This is why we do this, man. I know, like, I definitely wanted to get more oriented on, like, at some point I'm definitely going to get oriented on territory stuff, because I think that's another huge part of, like, leadership that's, like, missing from this game. But look, already from a half-hour conversation with you guys, I mean, we picked up asking for, in terms of power cleanup, is just asking people simply to just go inactive for 30 days, then they can come back, don't affect the matchmaking. Using as some people call, like, rat accounts, just to scope out kingdom chats for matchmaking purposes, to see if they're toxic or whatnot, or kind of cohesive. So I mean, that's why we do this stuff, guys, on King's Corner podcast. There's definitely and Syriax is a huge proponent of it. There's definitely a lack of leadership content out there. So if you guys are enjoying, please hit that like button, consider subscribing. Episode 4 of King's Corner podcast, for those who are just joining us, featuring Mr. Todo and DB from Kingdom 1918. That is something that we talk about a lot too, guys, on in previous episodes, especially the last episode as well, with lillith matchmaking. Do you think, Todo, that if you weren't doing some of these extra steps, that you guys would have had some more or less favorable matchups? Because I believe you guys have won your past couple KVKs, correct?
Yes, so we've won 2 out of the last 3.
Okay.
So I think right now matchmaking is probably one of the hardest things to look into, mostly because you don't really know what's being taken into account. I've seen great matchmakings where, like, the kill points of every camp is almost pretty similar. Mm-hmm. And others are just completely, like, really bad. Like, I know a friend of mine, he registered this 2 weeks ago, and his matchmaking ended up being 600 billion kill points for one camp and 300 billion kill points for the other 3. So you can kind of guess that the 600 billion kill point camp is going to win anyways, no matter who they ally with. And I think what's missing from the game is just considering kill points a lot more, the power, because there's people that they do take power more into consideration, so they clean that weight, so they're always leaner. And there's others that they just don't do that, so they're fat, low kill points. And so just looking into power, I don't think it's a good way to appropriately put kingdoms together in a camp. Mm-hmm. I think kill points are definitely a better metric to do so. So yes, it's I think it's a lot better than what it was a couple years ago, mostly because there's a lot more kingdoms now.
Yeah. The
So,
pool is
matchmaking-
much wider. Yeah.
Matchmaking has definitely gotten better, at least for my seed. I know, like, I think the Imperiums, there were a lot of people are saying that it's just really bad at Imperium level for a high A seed. But at least for me, right now, I think the matchmaking is pretty decently done.
Our last KVK wasn't too bad for matchmaking.
And you have you guys more, because I know you said you guys go kind of a little bit back and forth between A and B. Is it do you find yourselves more in A or more so in B?
It's more so in A, because as new kingdoms keep getting added to Season of Conquest, the power to be A or B keeps getting lower and lower.
Yeah.
So I think we always end up being in B seed, like in the middle of KVK, because we lose a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go back to A seed in the middle, we go back to A seed at the end of KVK, then back into B seed during the our cleanup, and then back into A. So we just keep going back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah, like he said, is once every time they add new kingdoms in, obviously it just bumps everybody else up. So it's hard to stay. It's hard to stay where you want to be because of that factor that is unknown until it happens.
Yeah, I mean they've been, it's funny because me and my buddy Ray, Ray more so than me, but he's been going back and forth with the support, and I think it's been we haven't had any further updates, but for the past few weeks they've been kind of adding and changing their wording on what has been the rule set for matchmaking. Okay, well it's power, it's kills, it's deads, but then they added in recently, like even your victories and your defeats. Like if you go into the more info tab under your stats, like victory and defeats mean something now apparently. They mention activity, but how do you gauge that activity? Does it count when you just log in to send farms out? Like for those who use the resource traders, quote unquote, in your kingdoms, I don't know if you guys have that or not, but if you use the quote unquote resource traders, like those guys have like hundreds of farms that can affect activity. They also mentioned that the kingdom victory and defeats mean something. Language now has also become a factor, and I have
seen that,
which is insane because we're in
Chisco mentioned that Barb Fort rallies, weren't they looking at that shit too?
Probably. See, like that's a pretty good standard and metric for activity, in my opinion.
I would agree. Yes.
That is probably one of the main things you should look at, because we all know that once off season hits, like right now we're in zone 5 in our KVK or whatnot, and there's not much barb forts going on because everyone's doing barbs. But as soon as off season hits, you have mad barb forts going on. That's a huge indicator for a kingdom's true activity, I feel like. But he told me.
Do you use a rockboard by any chance?
No, so we use Statmaster. I haven't used rockboard just because I didn't like the I've been using Statmaster now for almost a year and a half, but I didn't like rockboard just because I didn't like the way that they were getting the timings. I liked having a little bit more control in terms of when I was taking my data as opposed to when rockboard was telling me that, so.
Yeah, so I use Statmaster also, but I go into Rockboard every now and then for that monthly update. And on Rockboard, there is a chart that shows activity, and but I'm not sure how that's calculated. It just shows that activity and it gives you a value.
Mm-hmm.
So that I use Rockboard just to look at that sometimes, and then you'll be able to tell which ones are more active. You can see the newer kingdoms have an activity of an RC, an activity of 40 or 45, and the older kingdoms have an activity of 25, 30. So that is something that I occasionally checked when looking for allies during matchmaking, because it does give you an indicator of how active the kingdom is.
Interesting. Okay.
The other hard part about matchmaking too is commanders.
Yeah.
Like, we've been in KVKs where, like, it's a new kingdoms. They're new to, you know, Season of Conquest. And, I mean, they're handicapped. I mean, there's you got to figure out a way to bridge that gap. Now, they did introduce that you can get anybody in Season 3. But it still comes down to the fact of collecting the gold heads, where to use them. Oh, and guess what? We're getting new calves in a month and a half. So we just got new archers. What the fuck are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like, I spend money and I have a hard time keeping up.
It's honestly insane. I kept hearing the rumors that it was going to be August or whatnot.
Yeah.
But like they had told us earlier this year that they're slowing down the releases, and it feels like anything
They're not.
if anything they sped it up, because new calves have always come out in the beginning of the new year. So now someone's waving from your kingdom. So now it's going to be freaking 4 months ahead of schedule for these calves, which is absolutely nuts.
Well, then you got Greece coming out with the new commanders there too. Now, granted, they're not good, but nonetheless, you got new commanders coming everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, since we kind of just segued into it, do you want me to kind of bring those up and we'll kind of shoot the shit on that a little bit?
Yeah, that'll work. Todo's a Cav guy. I'm not really a Cav guy.
Oh, my man.
I'll give you my archer insight on the Cav guy.
Yeah, that they're gonna get whacked.
Yeah, we'll see.
I want to hear your guys' sentiments first, and then I'll kind of go into it. Let me just see if I can get this up correctly. Okay, cool. So I'm trying to pull this up big. So chat, I know this might be a little bit small for you, but the pictures are out there. This is pretty much just for stream aesthetics, so if you guys want to follow along with us, you guys have these pictures too, right?
Yeah, they're in our Discord.
Okay, beautiful. So first off, I like Todo even more now because he's a big anime guy, big My Hero guy, and now he's a Cav main. So look at that, my man. What do you guys think on new Cavs? Let's see. I guess Justinian first, since I have him up on screen. He's supposed to be our new rally lead.
I'll let Todo go first, and then I'll give my insight on it.
So, I mean, I actually don't know what to say about the rally guy. He doesn't seem as good as what I expected. He has a high nuke damage. But I feel like he's just gonna get easily swarmed with the kit that he has right now. I did when I was like talking to some people about what I thought the cavalry rally would be to beat Dito, I expected him more to be kind of close to a Saladin, like a lot more tankier, be able to withhold a lot more counter attack damage, so he can withstand the swarms, because right now swarming is a big part of the game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like he might be good. I think he'll definitely need a lot of testing. But that's where I am with him right now. I'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have I think both of them, honestly. I think both of these guys are gonna have huge testing periods because, very much kind of like archers, but I feel like Cav more so than any other troop type is very deep in terms of the amount of combinations that you can kind of play with them, because they just started getting garrisons, so everything else is an open field / rally potential commander. So I feel like there's going to need to be a lot of testings with both of these guys to see what is going to kind of quote unquote become the new meta, if there is one. But DB, what do you think on Justinian?
I agree 100% with what Todo had said. You know, if you're going to give these new tier commanders, and you want Cav to be a rally, right? Because let's face it, Cav's the most popular troop type that is in the game. There's probably more troop Cav mains than any other. It probably goes Cav, infantry,
then archer, yeah.
Then archer, yeah. As far as popularity goes, right? So you would think, which is one of the things that I talk shit on Lilith all the time. Why would you not give a Cav rally counterattack damage?
Yeah.
Especially these new ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like this new guy, I'm going to swarm the shit out of him. Period. He's
Yep.
done. He's off the map. Easy. Easy. Even with Nevsky. Just swarm him. You can swarm Nevsky now and Joan. You can swarm Nevsky SY. And you can swarm this guy. So it does, like Toto said, is the number one thing that's popular in the game. Whether it's swarming rallies, swarming garrisons. You gave this guy nothing to combat that. So you're releasing a Cav rally that is, in essence, obsolete, in my opinion.
Yeah, I pretty much had the same sentiments with him. At first, when I looked at him, I was at work last night when I got these leaks, and I was super hyped. I was like trying to like wrap up at work. And I was like, oh shit, new Cavs, and I'm like reading through it. I'm like, oh, this guy's so good. And then like it hit me. I was like, wait a minute, he's got no anti-swarm. Like he's got none.
No.
So, real quick, Sonny, thank you for the subscription. Also, Striker, thank you for the subscription. And King Lion, welcome to the stream. Look, he's definitely. So here's what I think he's going to be useful for primarily. He's probably going to be an Osiris League rally lead because his kit is very dependent on swarming, which we're in a swarm meta right now. But again, without total field control, he's just gonna melt. And like honestly too, like with the way that
That's with everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you have field control too, like you're gonna swarm down the flag at some point anyway, because you have all these auxiliary skills and crystal tech, all this stuff. So like what I think where he will really honestly kill it is going to be Osiris League. And it's crazy too because we just finished our last match. We advanced into round of 32. Shout out to Fame. Dude, we had a Dido Heraclius garrison that just sat there and was eating everything. So
well, I mean, if you look at this guy's kit, he says if the target is surrounded, adds 3 surrounding troops when calculating effects. Dido eliminates that. So he doesn't counter Dido.
Right. You're totally right. Oh my god.
He doesn't even counter Dido. So yeah, you do extra damage to archers, but because you're a Cav, but I mean Dido eliminates his primary whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh, what the heck? Good freaking call, DB. I'm definitely not investing into him. Look, he could be a pretty legit field commander. If you want to look to work in a Genghis Khan, or like if you're a really true hardcore Cav like fielder, which I honestly would like to get to at some point, but I just can't bring myself to invest 500 plus sculpts or whatever it's going to be for who's most likely going to be an MGE commander. It's a little bit too rich for my blood. Ray, Khan is not dead. He's going to make a resurgence at some point. Okay, thank you. Look, I think he will have a place. So I guarantee you we will see some of them in the field, especially with him being a support tree commander, it's pretty good. And I kind of played with the fact of someone like Takeda. So I'm gonna just kind of hide this real quick because Takeda does have, and I didn't put this on my video, but Takeda does have somewhat of a debuff to him, and I believe it's his active skill. So inflicts a burn effect on the target for 4 seconds, giving all normal attacks against the target a 50% chance to deal an extra 50% damage. Now I'm just curious if that's from all normal attacks, from all targets, because if that is so, then that's pretty good. And then you just get this base 30% increased normal attack damage to targets with the burning effect, so that you're getting the burning effect here. So that might be pretty good for even just a swarm maybe type setting if you're super heavy Cav main, but obviously there's better swarm options. But I think you could get playful with him, but it just doesn't look like he's going to be worth the investment in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you got to test it. Him and Attila, nobody ever thought Nevsky and Attila would work. And
yeah.
To an extent. But you can put him with Attila, and you never know. But as far as when I personally thought they would release one with counterattack damage to pair with Nevsky. But I guess that would be pretty much. I mean, I guess you could say broken. Broken like the Xeno meta, or broken like when Attila and Cicada first came out.
Maybe. I mean, I've been seeing some really good reports coming. So I was in. What was it? I was. Well, I have my other account, my quote unquote other account in 960, and they were in Warriors Unbound, and they started doing Nevsky Henry rallies because.
Oh yeah.
You could turn Henry into a Cav commander pretty much, and those things were doing work.
Yeah, you can't swarm Henry because he's got counterattacked in.
Yes, yeah. So, yeah, it probably would be a little bit broken, and I think they've been doing a pretty good job for the past few commander releases, in my opinion, of not creating,
making it broken.
Yes, yeah, because I mean the Xeno meta was forever. Yeah, the Attila meta lasted for so long. They're doing a very good job right now of not creating a centralized meta around one commander. Although I think Dido, we might be hitting that wall right now with Dido because we haven't seen anything like her.
I haven't matched her yet.
Oh, you haven't?
I have not.
He was waiting to see the Cav rally.
He's definitely doing it now. Are you guys by the way, are you guys in OL, or is that something that you guys partake in?
Yes, we actually lost.
Yeah, we were winning, and then our advancement match, they got all their troops back from KVK, and we got shit on.
So like today you guys lost?
It was last week, right, Toto?
Oh,
yeah,
last week. So the first of the like quote unquote knockout.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was looking too. You guys are pretty thick. I mean, you guys have like a decent amount of like fat boy players, like 99 mil, DB over here at 118, 155, 101.
That's the lowest I've been in a while.
And if you go into like some of your other guys, you have a pretty good amount of fat players. So, but I also know that realm, I think, is just a little bit more. I'm doing this too, and the chat can't see, but you guys are I think in a little bit more of a competitive realm for sure.
We got good migration in. We got a lot of nice new people that are active, and
so some of these people were not,
yeah.
They
well,
were.
I mean, most of them are. Yeah, our core is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Our core is really, really good. We got Toto did a good job with getting a nice migration group in, and we're excited about KVK, which we're registering for tonight.
Okay.
And it also has to do with timing. I know some of the people that I play are like I like to play at night, so like UTC 3 or UTC 4. But a lot of them can't really play in the morning when we do Osiris League. So our Osiris League team isn't. I would say it isn't complete, but I mean we're slowly getting there as well. Probably not to compete against like 1960 and all the big guys, but
yeah, you guys are in a tough round.
I think we can get consistently be able to make the knockouts, or even if we can make the top 32 like once and like in the future, I think that would be a big success.
That's one thing with recruiting, and I'm gonna kind of segue off of these commanders, but I definitely do want to come back because the other guy looks pretty damn OP. Just want to kind of quick segue into the Osiris League and a little bit of recruiting talk too. But one thing that we did, because we were kind of building an Osiris League team from our initial like starting of the jumper project, and once we hit KVK2, like that was one thing that we had sorted with people that we had coming in. We're like, yo, do you want to be on an Osiris League team? You have to, are you down to do practices, commit the time, and all that stuff. So as you said, you guys are kind of working through that and getting those players into your kingdom. Do you have any tips for recruitment? Since you guys look like you have had a pretty successful recruitment, just based on some of the weight and fat boys that you have chilling in here.
So with recruitment, Bart does most of that, so I'm not 100% sure. Like, I know he works a lot in the Discords. I think he goes through Chiskel's Discord, the main Discord, and a couple more. And we have had people that are, they want to be in Osiris League. So, and they're like, "Are you guys competitive in Osiris League?" Mm-hmm. So To be honest, when we before Osiris League started, I kind of told them, we're gonna start practicing during regular arcs. So we kind of started playing our Osiris League team in regular arcs, but we would end up getting matched against it's like DQ39, which is a really good team.
Yeah,
all this really big kingdom. So we were getting smashed.
Yeah.
So we were like, dang, we're pretty bad at this.
So every Osiris League, we're like, get your 10,000, get your 5 heads, and be done.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So we were like, dang, our team is not that good. And so when people asked us about our Osiris League, I mean, our ARC team, we were like, yeah, we're honestly pretty weak in that aspect because we kept losing and losing. And it wasn't until the actual Osiris League that we actually we realized that it wasn't just that we were bad, it's just that the teams we were facing were just that good.
Yeah.
But
it's a
at a recruitment standpoint, I would say make a Discord, show information. Even if you have I'm assuming every kingdom has their own Discord. Make us a separate tab for just migration and just have a role for migration, so people can go look see your how the kingdom is running, all that. That has helped a lot, and you'll be surprised with what kind of people you get and the recruiting, because there's a lot of people out there that they don't really have a good kingdom to go to, so you'll end up meeting people that get good accounts, and they'll be willing to join your kingdom.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never thought of that
migration
either.
chat is really nice. I like it because you give the people that are considering coming here a chance to talk to people that are already here.
Yeah.
So they can ask questions, they can do whatever, and they're actually talking to the people that are obviously in our kingdom to hopefully, welcome with open arms, with information, and just show that, most of the people in our kingdom are very helpful. You ask questions, we're going to, because we help you, you help us, everybody helps each other. So the migration chat, Todo introduced that. It's really, really, really nice.
So migration chat. So they you said a little channel for migration chat. So obviously everyone in the kingdom would have access to the migration chat. Because I was gonna ask a question: if the people with a migration role or migrant role had access to kingdom chat, but I guess you kind of let your people know, hey, treat migration chat kind of as like a pseudo kingdom chat. So if you see people chatting in there, don't be hesitant to just go in there and, chill with them and chat and whatnot.
Yeah.
Kind of something like that.
So it's not available to everybody in the alliance. It's only available to the leadership and a couple of people that are helping with migration, that they really talk a lot.
Yeah.
So so only those people get to see the migration chat and the info page. And then also the people that are put in the migration role, they can't see general chat, but they can see we have a info page, requirements, MG. We have a calendar that I put all the events that we do, or the events that are coming up and stuff like that.
You can prepare for it.
Okay, very nice. Yeah, I think that's one huge part of migration that is very important, and I think that people will kind of key on if you are a good kingdom or not, is just your organization when it comes to the steps of migration, of getting them sorted, kind of keeping in touch with them and whatnot. I feel like people can kind of get a pretty good read on a kingdom, on whether or not it's a suitable place just on those initial steps alone.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I get them all the time where you get these random messages, hey, so-and-so is recruiting, we like your stats, blah, 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 and that's it. That's not going to get my interest up at all.
Yeah.
But hey, we're interested in you, here's our Discord for migration chat, stop on in, ask questions, let us know what you're considering, and go from there. So it's definitely helped with getting quality players. Okay.
Okay.
You also get to see the other person's perspective, like what they're looking for in a kingdom. So like if there's something that they're looking for that you don't have in the Discord, it's like, oh, we can add this as well. We can make changes, kind of broaden what they want to see.
Yeah.
So it'll be just a lot more informative.
Hey, I got a little bit of work to do on our migration Discord then. Definitely noted. Yeah, we're in the process right now of recruiting and whatnot. Kind of the slow build, I think, approach that you guys have taken and are continuing to take. Because again, we're kind of on the climb up into A seed now, because we just don't really want to sit at a B seed, because it's going to limit the amount of rewards that I think we're going to get at the end of the day, especially with the autarch testimonies and stuff. And kind of now, you know, I think a lot of people, you know, back in the day, obviously, like people want the star and whatnot. And I literally had just gotten to a point too where I was like telling my guys, like, look, we don't care about the star anymore. I could really give, you know, two shits if we get it or not. But here we are now, autarch testimonies. You kind of need to get the star /zig now to get, you know, the full 240 for your kingdom.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's one of the reasons why we're kind of trying to make this little push into A seed, so you can kind of control the narrative a little bit more. So,
yeah, and I think that's one of the big problems with KVK is you get one star. Granted, you know, you try to give it to the kingdom that does the most, but
yeah,
you're really only as good as your allies, honestly.
Very true.
You know, unless you do a full free-for-all, but then that becomes a shit show as well. But I feel like if Lilith would introduce all right, here's your KVK, set up your allies, and then at the end of the KVK, if your allied group controls the Zig, then all kingdoms involved in that allied group get a star. Because last KVK,
they either get a star or they get more autarch rewards, I think.
Yeah. But they don't do it that way. They just get whoever occupies the Zig at the end, which Cyrex has a good idea. The Zig owner could distribute stars.
Yeah, some like
which would be
silver star, like these little assist stars or something like that, like a little something.
Yeah, something to show that your kingdom won, but you didn't hold the Zig.
Yes, yeah,
and it's still a victory.
Yes.
But like we've won 2 out of the last 3. I mean, how many wins do we have? We have what?
I think we have 6 or 7.
Yeah, but we only have 1 star. So, and not only that, but that hurts recruiting as well. If you reach out to recruit somebody, oh, you only have 1 star. Well, we've won 6 KVKs, but they don't know that. You could tell them, but they're like, oh yeah, you're full of shit. So
yeah, you could be like this kingdom here, 1777. Let me see, hold on. The infamous. This was one of my old kingdoms. The infamous Luna kingdom.
Oh, Luna. She went to 1647, right?
Yeah. She's actually looks like she's been doing a pretty good job at fighting. But
I'll be right back.
All right, DB. She actually put one loss on there. Interesting. Okay. But current KVK wins 8 wins, 1 loss. So she humbled up a little bit and actually added a loss. But it was like we won every KVK when, like, I know for a fact that, you know, they didn't win every KVK. Even Syriax was allied with them, and they just lost 2 KVKs ago, I believe. So, Arcantos, welcome to the stream. Welcome, my friend. Yeah, I mean, I think the whole reward. I mean, look, the game is made for is to create drama, you know, and to create discrepancies, whether it's ruins or rewards or you know, anything of that sort. It's such a I don't want to say drama. I can't think of the correct word, but yeah,
tension between the kingdoms, between alliances in the kingdom.
Yeah, and especially with ones too that, like, you're fighting all KVK with, and you're like, you know, you're making buddies with them. It now comes to end KVK rewards, and it's like, all right, well, who's gonna stab who in the back first? You know, it's like, why has it got to be like that?
Like,
huh?
Can you hear me? Did I lose you guys?
No, you're good.
Okay.
I was saying, there's one thing that still confuses me, how big kingdoms like Imperiums are getting more migration in. Like a lot of those people won't get those end rewards. And right now, off target is probably like the biggest thing. So those are special inscriptions. So it's a little weird seeing more and more people making those big kingdoms.
Yeah, I think we'll start to see it soon. I think this KVK here with the 647 one, 875, I think that might be one of the last big KVKs we're gonna see. I could be wrong, but I think after this KVK you'll start to see some of them starting to break up a little bit. I mean, we obviously already saw it with 254, 307, 1307 has started to break up.
Chisco left, what, 1265 or whatever it was?
1254. Yeah, they're
54.
They're in 2605 now. Those bastards, they came into our realm right before Osiris League started. So, yet another team I'm going to have to worry about as going into the next rounds. We already have to worry about 2489, who has 3 Osiris League teams, and now 2605 is there with freaking Yoda and Chiz and Cortex and whatnot. So, should be fun. But yeah, I think this KVK here might be one of the last few big KVKs the community gets to kind of see.
I think the introduction of the Odd Tarks, I think Lillith realizes how much of a difficulty it is to matchmake for those kingdoms. So, in order to eliminate that, you eliminate the big kingdoms. And the only way to do that is, all right, at the end of these KVKs, only so many people can get rewards. That's going to piss a lot of people off. And you're towing a line where you're going to be, I mean, in essence, you're, as a company, you're hurting your bankroll because you're pissing off the kingdoms that spend the most money.
Yep.
But it's for the good of everybody, because that hopefully, come on, get up here. Betters the matchmaking. Come on, stop. Sorry, I'm talking to my dog.
I think I think on that point too, well, I mean, look, they could have just simply fixed the core issue, right? And I'm not a computer guy by any means, but the main problem was lag. They could have simply just went in and fixed the lag issue, and you would have still had these massive kingdoms throwing down against each other and spending, 90% of the kingdom spending max tech and, buying fate changers from, whatever. Probably those guys aren't buying too many fate changers because they're too big to buy fate changers. But yeah, I think the core thing is just should have just been fix the lag, but instead they tried to put a band-aid over it. With just trying to purposefully cut down kingdoms. So, but we'll see. I think the direction that the game is going, if kingdoms do start to downsize and we have a wider A pool, which is I think what we had mentioned a little bit on my episode 2 with the guys from 2293, a wider aid pool I think could be very good for the game, because a lot of us are, a lot of kingdoms in the game now in general are 1 alliance or 2 alliance kingdoms. Like the days of you guys have been playing the game long enough, like the days of 3 and 4 alliance kingdoms are done. Like those are literally like dinosaurs walked the earth when that was a thing.
Those 4 alliance 10 billion power KVK2 kingdoms.
Yeah. I mean, look, those are good times though. I gotta say, my KVK2 still to this day, my very first KVK2 is probably one of the best KVKs I've ever played in. We were fighting for like 13 days straight in a KVK2. How we did it, I have no idea. I don't know how my speed ups and my resources lasted that long, but it was a very fun time. So
they need to bring that now. Like if that was the way, Season of Conquest was made and the matchmaking was somewhat legitimate, this game would take off like amazingly. But unfortunately, that's kind of where we're at now. You pray, like tonight we're gonna register. We're praying that we get something worth a fuck.
Yeah.
As far as the next 3 months or however long KVK is.
Yeah. Well, my buddy Ray, they just had their matchmaking and their whole allies and stuff like that, and they kind of got a little bit screwed. What KVK format are you guys looking into going to? And did you guys max skip or no?
No, we did we did 2 skips, so this will be the 3rd registration. It was because some of our migrants couldn't migrate in until I think last week,
Okay.
so we kind of had to wait a little bit longer. But we kind of want to try the Warriors Unbound mode. We did Siege of Orleans last time, so we want to do Warriors Unbound, and then probably Nile after that. Let's try all the new modes.
Okay. I was only asking because they have the new stratagem mode that should be releasing next week, so probably on the
That'll
next
be after ours, yeah.
Yeah, it would be after the next pop, because I'm very curious. I think that mode looks pretty dope. With the whole like.
Have you seen the map for that one?
I have not seen the map, but just the small adjustments that they've kind of made with those, like functional things with the quick counter rallies. So like once your counter rally is full, it just launches. What I'm thinking is going to be like a no man's land type deal in between flags. You're gonna have this big empty space in between flags because the flags are now arrow towers, and I think that's gonna create a nice little bit of a difference. And then obviously we're gonna have these stratagems, which are probably gonna be like auxiliary skills, but probably just not based off of commanders. But we'll see. I don't know, but yeah, that mode looks very, very interesting. I'm excited for that one. What was your guys' experience as a A/B seed last KVK for Siege of Orleans?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought auxiliary skills were going to be kind of broken, which to some extent they were to some extent, but not as much as I would say not as much as to what I've been reading from other people.
Yeah. But
I'm not sure if it's because there's not as much swarming in our seed compared to like a high A seed. So I'm not sure if it's because of that.
I put in a swarm video in your Discord from our last KVK, but that was what, first auxiliary? I think once you get to 2 or 3, it becomes
a
problem for the garrison, like Chiskel says. And I mean, for the most part, I don't really buy into a lot of what Chiskel says. He's very informative, but until I'm an experienced guy. Like, okay, you say this, I'm gonna go do it, and I'm gonna see for myself. And I mean, yeah, when you have 10 marches swarming a garrison, and all 10 marches have 3 auxiliary skills, and the garrison only has 3, you're not gonna win that.
True.
So I feel like the map was really good, the idea was really good. I really do like the auxiliaries, but I feel like maybe if they gave the garrison a 4th auxiliary later on in the KVK. Yeah. Something to where the garrisons could have somewhat of a fighting chance, I guess you could say. But yeah, once you get later on in that KVK, it is 100% field. Which, I mean, obviously, any KVK, if you have field, you win. But you still need to rally in the garrisons to be competitive. But in that case, it's like, it's irrelevant for a garrison to down. Hold on a second.
I still want to see this. I haven't like seen it in its entirety, but the yeah, I'm curious to see. Did you guys have like any issue with like I don't know if you guys have like newer players in the kingdom, because you guys do have a little bit of an older kingdom, but did you have any troubles with people like not having the commanders or like / the skills to kind of support all like the auxiliary slots that you had?
Some people did have issues, but I think a lot of them use the epic skills, and there's several epic skills that they're really crazy. So
like the Joan one is really good, 25% attack damage.
Yeah, Joan, Belly, Sun Tzu, even Yulji was really good.
Oh, he does have a low-key really good skill.
Yeah, so I think most people did enjoy it from what I like. So at the end of KVK, I kind of sent an email saying like their thoughts and stuff like that on the KVK, or like what we need to improve and stuff like that. And most of them did say that they enjoyed the KVK. So I don't think it was that big of an issue for skills, but I can see where like newer people would have issues since they don't have as many commanders as others.
Yeah. Is this the skill you were talking about, Toto? The fourth skill with the 10% chance to increase troops damage by 100% on the next turn? Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a very good idea to have the older commanders. Sorry, my dog was barking. This guy was delivering. It's a very good idea to reintroduce commanders that you don't use anymore, like giving them an actual use in the game now, which is, I mean, from a creativity standpoint, is really, really good. I mean, that was really good. But it comes down to, obviously, the balancing issue. If they were to add some kind of a balance, Siege of New Orleans is by far number one as far as KVK goes, at least in my opinion, as far as fun goes. Now, if they did Heroic Anthem with a version of Siege of New Orleans where you could pick, instead of just getting random shit from Bastions, if you could pick one skill to put, that would make, I think, Heroic Anthem number one.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had several Heroic Anthems back to back where like all the starting skills were just like
barb damage,
barb hunting, or like garrison,
like barb damage,
like
and
city garrison.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of useless. It was like basically fighting without any HA skills.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, that's the main part of Heroic Anthem. You're eliminating your own content based off of useless shit.
You know the messed up part. I've still never played a Strife of the 8. I played in one for like a mini Zone 5. It's when I was in 780, and I think we were actually fighting. We were in that KVK with 412, and I think 893, who was Imperium at the time. Or both of them were Imperium at the time. But I've still never played in a Strife of the 8, unfortunately, and I don't think I'll get the chance to now because there's so many other KVK modes that people just register for. Instead.
Yeah, they enjoy it a lot better.
Yeah.
We did one. Our one Strife was with Mimi.
Oh, nice.
But as you can imagine, us and that.
It was so bad because I think only 17 kingdoms registered, and so it was 16 kingdoms in a camp between A and D seeds, and I straight up woke up, and we had already gotten allies. So it was gonna be a 4 versus 12, so we kind of got destroyed.
4v12.
Mimi wanted our corner versus the rest of the map.
Mimi was like, "Yeah, we can do a 1v8. Don't worry," and then they got stopped by 1718, which is a crazy kingdom.
Botting cheating kingdom, yeah.
I was about to go search them up, but yeah, I mean, if they're just botting,
they're a really good kingdom. I think I would say they're the best kingdom in our pool of power, alongside 1818, and they're fighting each other right now. 1818 and 1718.
1718 won easily.
Oh.
So I don't call out cheating kingdoms very often. Todo doesn't ever.
Mm-hmm.
We were fighting 1718, right? You know how you have to take one march out of your city at a time?
Yes, yeah.
Anytime you would take one march out, it would instantaneously get targeted by 20 marches.
And it was like that wasn't even the only thing. Like some of those marches were like from like 5 minutes away, and like how did they even see you?
Oh shit.
So you would try to get your troops out to field fight, and as you would take one out, you would get targeted by 20, and I'm instantaneously. As soon as you would click the march button, your screen would turn red, and you would have 10 to 15, 20 marches targeting you immediately. And that's, I mean, I was like, I told Toto, I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And he was like, I don't know. He's like, that's extremely fishy because physically, as a human being, you can't do shit like that.
Yes, yeah.
And it was like, everybody in our kingdom was doing that. And even though the other camps were like, yeah, we're getting it too. And that's whenever...
So I'm assuming this is an Asian kingdom, correct?
And
they're a Korean kingdom.
That's never happened to us in any of our prior 10 KVKs. Only when we played them. That happened.
Yeah, I can't say for sure if they're cheating or not, because I mean it did look pretty crazy, but I know like they're definitely a strong fighting kingdom because I mean they have 6 stars. So
yeah. That's nuts.
Yeah, so like they're definitely really strong. I think it was DB who messaged in like if they work or something, and they said they were all pro gamers. So
yeah, they were on 24/7. 2 weeks straight, the same players over. And I literally asked them, I said, "Are you guys employed at all?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we're professional. Like they're all professional streamers, I guess."
professional gaming, gamers.
Or they just pilot everything.
Yeah.
They share all.
Definitely. Well, I mean, don't. One of my buddies too. He actually Egg from my kingdom. He actually, I think he said he mentioned he lived in Korea for a little while. But he said that like he actually was a pro. He was a pro gamer for CS:GO. And he said that like Koreans are probably the hardest core gamers that he's like come across. So like coming from one pro gamer to like I guess to those guys. So I wouldn't put it past them to be really dedicated, but we're definitely entering a piloting meta of sorts. I mean, you see it all across some of these bigger KVKs and whatever the Imperiums that are left now. There's definitely huge emphasis on pilots for sure.
Don't they market that whenever they recruit, right?
I think to an extent, yeah.
Your account should, your account has to be open to be piloted or something like that.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I've been seeing more of lately. I don't know who exactly I just saw. I don't think it was 960, but I do know what you're talking about, DB. There has been like that's part of their recruiting pitches now. Pretty much is like you have to allow your account to be piloted. I'm trying to look in this.
Fighting them was an experience to say the least. We fought in really really good kingdoms, and I've never encountered stuff like that before, where you would pull out one march and it would instantaneously be targeted by 10 to 15 other marches that were either close to your city or, like Toto said, 5 minutes away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never experienced that, nor do I want to. It does not sound fun whatsoever.
No, it wasn't. It was terrible.
Yeah, it looks like 718 is putting it on 818 though. It looks like they're controlling, starting to push through the northern or the midway point of this one zone. And
the left zone's completely blocked off. They already have the left zone.
Okay.
They already won the left zone. They came over to help the other side.
So this KVK might be getting wrapped up very shortly then.
Yeah.
Damn botters. Syriax, I don't know if there's any stopping the piling craze, to be honest. I think that's just where we're at. I mean, I think it's just, it's kind of like you can't beat them, join them type deal. Oh wait, D's in this kingdom, 818, that's right. Our old Kraken went to this kingdom. I actually fought 818 way back in the day when I was in 780. Yeah, huge VA kingdom over here.
Yeah, I would say those two are probably two of the strongest around our power, like between like the 15 and 19 billion power. I would say those two are two of the strongest.
Yeah, very high A. They're out there. They went in Osiris League too, so
yeah, a lot of weight in that.
Yeah, we've done a low. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, 8, 9, 10 KVKs. That's the only KVK where that has ever happened, to where I literally was like, what the hell's going on here? This is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
I mean, there's no way to explain it.
Keeps it interesting, at least,
Yeah.
Let me see. Have you guys had any good stories or experiences fighting Imperiums, or any really big KVK throwdowns that you guys have any remembrance of?
3 KVKs ago, we were in Kingsland fighting 1689, which at the time they were the strongest ones in our camp, and not in the camp, in our map. And we held one flag for like 4 hours.
Nice.
Against them. They got so mad that like one of their whales just started swarming our flag for no reason, and he teleported out because he was just so pissed. And yeah, so and that ended up, like, that one flag ended up being what like us holding allowed our allies to push the other side, so we ended up winning that KVK. But it was it was just because of that one flag, I think, in my opinion, that we managed to hold on, and they kind of lost like morale. They kind of lost. They knew they were gonna lose.
That's kind of nuts.
That was a good. That was a really fun KVK. That was probably my most deads. Was that KVK?
Wow. Well, you guys love getting matched up against Korean kingdoms, huh? Or Asian kingdoms. Very much like my buddy Syriac too. You can't dodge the Asian kingdoms to save his life.
We always end up fighting an Asian kingdom in the first zone. Last KVK was the Chinese. It was 1331 FN. They're really strong also. Then before that was 1994. Oh, actually, I think it was Vietnamese. Then a Korean, then another Korean. We've faced basically only Asian kingdoms.
1331.
It's been a difficult road, but you know, I think by far our strongest characteristics as a kingdom is defense.
Okay.
I mean, I think if we can get to the point where we can field against an Asian kingdom, like 1v1 at their uptime, I think that's where I want us to be at. Because Asian kingdoms they're really strong, in my opinion.
A lot of high crystal tech players that are going to be in there, typically high spenders. So the field is going to be a little bit more punishable, especially if you don't have those high players to kind of combat that. Philly, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. I kind of like that that little bit that you threw in there, DB, of defense being your guys' strongest aspect, because I think if you're a good defensive kingdom, you have to have very good territory skills. Am I correct on saying that?
Todo's the map mastermind. Anytime we go to a KVK, he puts out maps in Discord for all our allies to say, look, here's what we need to do, and if we execute it, it gives us the best chance at winning. And it's color coded. It's my dumbass can follow it. Put it that way. Where I'm like, all right, I can see what we're trying to do here. And he takes into consideration, you know, mountains and rivers and all that shit that, I mean, in essence, puts you at a handicap if you flag the wrong way. But yeah, that's another aspect of Todo being Todo, and he definitely does. He does an extremely good job of doing that. That's
cool. I think so. I have plans at some point to do. I didn't get a chance to do it this KVK. Dan Cofton. Yeah, I know, Sierra. So I was actually going to do a territory building stream when we dropped into KVK. That's always very tough for me though, because obviously we're all US players. So like whenever we drop into KVKs, you got to build a fort for 4 hours, and then next thing you know, it's like midnight or 11 o'clock or whatever. Unless you're a West Coast player and you have that little bit of wiggle room. But I just can't. I'm too old to be streaming at 1 a.m., especially doing flags and stuff and telling people to fill it and whatnot. But I definitely want to, maybe on these next zone openings, I'll do just like building and territory, and just like, okay, we can go here, but I don't want to go here, so this is more optimal to go this way, and just kind of routing and stuff. Maybe Todo will, if you're available, maybe we'll come on and do that. But do you have any advice on territory development, how you approach it? One way that I approach is which might be different from other people's, but I like working backwards. So a few KVKs ago, I kind of took over doing territory, and my perspective is you can't plan zone 5 without knowing what you're going to be doing in zone 6. So I literally try to plan territory as much as I can from end of KVK all the way to the beginning of KVK. That's my approach. How do you kind of take on territory?
Yeah, so I take maps, and then I have like a drawing software on my computer. So I kind of do lines, see, kind of like what you're saying, that you have to know where you're going to go next.
Yeah.
So after I do zone 4, I go into zone 5, and then I kind of look to see if it makes sense, like if it's going to be a smooth transition, how many forts I need. Then into zone 6, do the same thing. So what I try to do is, like if there's multiple kingdoms, like you have 3 or 4 kingdoms, have at least 2 of those kingdoms be able to go from zone 4 into Kingsland with only 1 AF, so that you have a So those two kingdoms have another AF in case we need to drop somewhere else or stuff like that. So like a tip that I have noticed, like as we do with like when the zone starts, like, and we have to fight, is that you can actually make the flags, the time of the flags goes lower if you have T5s only, and then the more people that are joining, the faster they go. So like if you have 10 people with like 200k T5s, it's faster. It's actually slower than 20 people with 100k T5s, because you have a lot more people. So somehow it just goes a lot faster with having more peoples. So I know like when the zone starts, that's something I kind of want to have a build team, be ready with 2 marches. One march to be at the flag, and then the other march to be ready for the next flag. So and it all adds up. Like sometimes you have the enemy have like 3 minutes 30 seconds for each flag, while you have only 3 minutes. So you say 30 seconds, and like that sometimes can be like 1 or 2 flags in the long run.
Yeah, no, it's very true. You just gave me an idea. I think I think I'm gonna make a video on that, because I don't think anyone has anything like that out right now. But
that would be good content.
Just showing that example, because I mean, especially like these next zones, for example, is like there's no rush for us to be, you know, doing these flags, so I can get like a little team of people together and you know, kind of just show the testing and breakdown on that. But yeah, we try to do that as much as possible. It's very hard in fighting zones though, because and especially being a smaller ish kingdom, where we kind of have to rely on either the lower power players or people to kind of build with their subs and farms, you know, because we do want to kind of still try to maintain as much presence on the field as possible, and especially on a map with like Kingsland and stuff, where you're building multiple flags at a time. But
so like for me, I actually, the first hour of a zone opening for war, I actually don't fight. I stick to just territory. And I let like DB and Marma, which Marmas are our other co-king, I let them handle the war aspect, because yeah, like you want to have a lot of field presence, but also like if the territory doesn't go as planned, then you can be at a big disadvantage when like later on when we're touching flags and stuff like that.
Yeah, I try to rein them in to stall them or be some kind of a nuisance while we build as much as possible, and then once we meet, I teleport back and I stuff garrisons and launch rallies. It's kind of I guess for most kingdoms that's what they do. You know, they're bigger players. They ran them into a good spot. Yeah, be a disruptor. And then once everything's done and it's pretty much fielding and rallying, I come back and lose troops.
yeah. I mean, you never know where you're gonna land. So sometimes I remember, and I think it was one KVK where I was in with my man Hunky, and there was a really fat player that literally was right next to a flag that we needed to, like a key flag. I think it was a mountain jump, like key flag that we needed to get into. And like we literally, like at that point, it was like we were kind of trickling in, and we're like, okay, we need to send an actual ball to get past this person and fill this fucking flag. It was a 2070 KVK. Yeah, I remember that. It was literally on a mountain, on like a key mountain hop that we needed to do. And this player, I think it was one player, then turned into a few more, and it was just like, you got to be kidding me, you know?
Which is crazy, because that's like, that could be a big deciding factor for a zone, and it's literally about the luck of the random port.
Yeah.
Which is wild, but I mean, I guess that goes with most RNG games. Is you know, if I can get into a good spot and throw out, you know, my 5 to 6 crazy marches to stall, and we get, you know, 2 or 3 extra flags because of it, then I mean that's a pretty decent advantage going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's also too like a part of like, you know, potential opening strategies for you know, kingdoms that are confident enough to pull it off, and just sending your ball onto flags, you know, and just kind of taking that approach of, yeah, you know, you're probably going to lose a little bit of ground, or you know, you might lose some ground in a few minutes once all your marches are refreshing, but just to kind of stall those initial flags, you're going to gain a little bit more territory on it. So it's definitely something that you know, kingdoms can kind of play with that idea. Datma, welcome to the stream. Also, Larson, welcome to the stream. Any further thoughts on the new leaks?
Yeah. Let's go back to the.
Yeah, we can jump back into that.
We're HQ.
Yeah, we're at an hour and a half too. I don't like to go too long, so we're kind of about to hit that mark where we'll start kind of closing it up a little bit. 2 hours is like the most I like to go, but I definitely do appreciate you guys taking the time and coming on and chilling out with me. It always seems like, I mean, 2 hours in essence can kind of seem like a long time, but these go relatively quickly. I don't know for you guys.
Yeah, it has been going pretty well.
Yeah,
time's flying.
So always a good sign. It means that I guess my job as a host, I'm doing a good job, like keeping you guys entertained. Let's see, how do I do this?
Boy Cubing, is that how you pronounce this new guy's name?
It is. So according to my Chinese teacher, it's Hua Chubing. Chubing, but HQ is probably what he's going to be referred to as.
That's what we call him.
So this guy looks nuts on paper. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to be the main primary as a cap player. I think you can pair him up with like Nevsky, Joan, and he's going to do a lot of damage. Two of the things that interest me are is like third skill, like that.
Yes, yeah.
After, if it has not been garrisoned for at least 30 seconds, for the first 15 seconds, he gains the following buffs: deals 10% up to 30% more skill damage and 150 less rage.
I have a thought on that as well, and
really
I'll share it whenever Toto's done.
And I'm not sure if it's like, you probably have better leaks than I do, because I kind of use a different like mine were a little bit cut off, but it says like for the expertise, the autumn wind. Do you by any chance know what that is? It gains the autumn wind effect.
They heal.
I think, yeah, I think it's just the I don't know why they like to add unnecessary wording into it to some of these skills, and I think that's just his fourth skill. I think it's just an enhancement
Right.
on that, I believe.
I think the healing's also gonna be it's a pretty good bonus for this commander.
Yeah, a little bit more sustained in the field. We got
3,000?
2,700 damage factor.
The healing. Like what I'm looking at is cut off a little bit.
Yeah, it's cut off for me too. I want to say it's 2K. I think 3K might be a little nutty.
Yeah, that's higher than Xeno.
I think 1,500 already might be the highest. Let me see. I'm gonna kind of do this in the background, but Richards is 1,400, and then Xeno's is, where's hers? He gives you like a burst heal, I think. 1,100. She gives you a 300 and then 1,100.
So to piggyback what Toto was saying.
3K healing, chat is saying. Holy balls.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Hey, well, at least Cav Gang has their barb chainer now. But we actually have double C and this guy now too. Holy crap.
Yeah, that's definitely a barb chainer for sure. But to piggyback what Toto was saying, the third skill, I think they implemented that because if you remember, if you look at his fourth skill, that's like Scipio's. And you could garrison with Scipio. And I think they implemented the third skill so you can't use this. Well, not necessarily that you can't, but to not be able to use him as a garrison. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Scipio has when attacking troops, and whenever you're in a garrison, you're attacking troops.
Yes.
So that's why you could use Scipio as a garrison. And you might be able to use this guy as a garrison. I mean, he has the same exact skill. You get 30 defense and a skill damage bonus when you're attacking troops, and when you're a garrison, you're attacking troops. But I think they added a third one so that you don't want to put this guy in a garrison.
Interesting. I'm actually... Let me see, where's Skippy? Holy crap, it is actually very... Even his second skill is a very similar kit to Scipio. Damage factor... Damage taken reduced... Direct damage factor... Possibly, yeah. They probably could have put that in there as like a little bit of a caveat, and then also too, I think to my buddy Ray, because I misinterpreted it and I put it on my video that he was going to be a cheeseburger, but this actually is anti-cheeseburger, so he's not going to be a like he could still be a good cheeseburger in March because his nuke is so goddamn high. But yeah, you're not going to get that active skill reduction on the rage. Yeah, I think he is going to be a field commander too, Syriax. I mean, just with this 2700 alone and the March speed reduction of 50% is pretty nuts. So anything that's trying to run away from you is, you know, goodbye. Like, you're just going to get stuck in the mud.
Yeah, I was telling Toto pretty much, I mean, I'm not a Cav main, but you literally put this guy in front of Joan and then you move Nevsky back to XY and you have 2 tanky marches with both have AoE.
So that's what I was gonna ask. That was gonna be my next question, because I've been kind of playing with what I'm gonna do March wise as soon as I get my hands on this guy, who's probably gonna be on the wheel, to be honest. So I'm gonna slowly develop him, because I think what I'm going to do as well, so for chat and for those who kind of have an idea what my account looks like, I'm probably going to be investing into Trajan for these later stages of OL, and I'm just going to make a base 5551 Trajan. I don't have an infantry march at the moment, so I think I'm going to invest half of my sculptures into Trajan, so I finally have one. That'll be kind of my quote-unquote infantry march, and it's going to help our OL team a little bit more for those mid-fights. And then I'm going to kind of do a slow burn on this guy with doing the wheels and then kind of bringing him up. Yeah, let me see your guys' thoughts real quick. But we're on chat, Nevsky William, HQ Joan. C Will suggested Nevsky Joan and HQ William. I think it's flexible. Vincent, welcome to the stream. He says Nevsky William, HQ Joan Prime. Datma with HQ William and Nevsky Joan. So it seems to be going back and forth either with HQ William or HQ Joan. I personally, it's gonna break my heart if I have to break up the Nevsky Joan pairing, because that march just slaps so good. We'll start with Toto, the other Cav main. What do you think?
I would say HQ with Joan, and then keep XY with Nevsky. Or actually, no, Nevsky with William.
Nevsky William, okay.
I think William's trash. I'm probably one of the only ones, and that's why I'm not a Cav main. I think William's trash. He's pretty much like Khan. He's a glass cannon. I see William on the field, I target him immediately, because he goes down really quick.
Syriax, it's hottest of takes.
That's why I keep XY. I'll put XY with Nevsky, because that gives XY the tankiness he needs. It's AoE, and I'll put whatever this guy HQ with Joan, because that's AoE as well. And whenever you're fighting in the open field, the number one thing that I do is AoE. Plus, they're both rage requirements are lowered. So not only do you have double AoE, but now the rage requirement for both those marches are lower. So you're going to fire AoE, and you're going to fire it more often.
I think even with Mina, he's going to be really good also.
Yeah, because now you're talking about what, 60% defense on a Cav march, which is pretty good, and then you just throw on like your legend, Toto, mining your legendary sets will probably go on this guy to compensate for the lack of health that he's going to have. And obviously the health definitely attributes to the damage a decent amount too. XY is very squishy. I've honestly even just thought of just leaving my marches as is, and maybe even doing like a Saladin HQ, because Saladin needs a commander with punch, and I think this is that guy. And I'm telling you, I'm always one, up until lately, with like kind of the new meta of things, I've always been one to hide my high nuking marches, but we've kind of grown out of that meta a little bit. So I honestly might, because my Saladin's benched right now, I honestly might bring Saladin into it, because Saladin's not going to be getting targeted, and this guy's just going to be cracking 2,700 people at a pretty quick rate because of the support tree. And that gives you the defense. They both stack the defense and then the counterattack damage, and he's giving you a decent amount of skill damage bonus to assist with that further punch that Saladin needs, and the attack. So you
have to look at it this way. I mean, if someone wants to get in and hit XY Nevsky, that leaves this guy with Joan not being touched. It leaves Henry ZL not being touched. It leaves Guan Scipio not being touched. It leaves Boudica YSG not being touched. So, I mean, you got to pick your poison.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, we are getting to that point now too, where you just, you got to pick your poison on who you're attacking first. And I think it was Larson who may have mentioned, or someone in chat saying he doesn't really have a true debuff, but the March speed reduction is pretty good enough, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think he needs to be primary because his nuke is so goddamn high. But
he does need to be primary because his nuke goes down to 700 if he's a secondary.
It does. Okay, so scratch that. No Saladin. Never mind. That's not going to work. I guess, yeah, you can't hide a guy who has the highest nuke in the game. You have to give him that stipulation because then people are just going to be hiding this dude behind like Bertrands and, you know.
Yeah.
He's just going to be ripping people.
He's like Edwards of Wood. He's like the Edward of Woodstock nowadays, but obviously not a 1350 Raider.
Yeah. Europe, welcome to the stream. Dan loves his KVK2. I do love my KVK2 commanders, man. They got me a lot of kill points, all right?
But I'm alright with this guy because he doesn't have any AoE, so archers are still open field meta.
Yeah, that was the only thing I mean, you can't give him the highest nuke and also give him AoE, so I was kind of okay with that. Yeah, I'm really torn. I don't know what I'm going to do with this guy or how I'm going to break up my pairings. As I mentioned with Justinian, I think that there's going to be a ton of testing that both of these guys are going to need to do on not only just open fielding but rallying. So like we were kind of discussing last night in my council or in OL chat, I can't remember, but discussing the rally potentials with these two new commanders, and I was like, well, since Justinian doesn't have an anti-swarm, you're probably just better off just doing a HQ Nevsky rally if you're gonna need total field control, because I mean this guy's giving you let's just say 30% or 20% skill damage bonus from his fourth skill. You'll get the third skill for like 15 seconds, maybe one raid cycle, and then all the skill damage bonus that Nevsky's giving you, I think that's up to like 60% or something like that. That's a lot of skill damage that you're just, and I've kind of been like my viewpoint on where the meta is like leading is it's a dick swinging contest between who's doing more damage, and that is probably going to do the most damage, and you're still getting meta stats with health and defense. So if you have total field control, why not just do an HQ?
But his defense doesn't count if you're rallying. Has to be attacking troops.
Oh, that's right. Okay, all right. So they covered their bases with him. Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I literally was like, once I got done reading him, I was just like, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to go as a Cav main. I'm definitely going to get him, but I just don't know where I'm going to plug him in yet. So I might just go ahead and follow the crowd, kind of like I've been doing, and just doing whatever. Seawill seems to be the guy. Seawill's kind of the new Wick Gaming in a sense, because they can do all the nice testing up there in 960.
I'll have to check him out. I haven't seen him yet. But yeah, this guy, there's no AoE, but that 2700 nuke's nutty.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I know you can't. You're not gonna get the defense bonus on it, but like I can't wait to see the 2700 damage factor on a rally. Like that number's gonna be so ridiculously high. I feel like
a counter rally for him. He's an excellent counter rally.
Yeah. Oh yes, absolutely.
Because you're attacking troops, and that 2700 nuke is, like you said, it's gonna be disgusting.
Yeah, I'm just getting to the point now too. I'm getting commander fatigue.
Everybody, yeah. I mean, I am too. I mean, it's exhausting trying to keep up.
I still have Boudica 5551. I have ZL. I only spun one wheel with him. Like there's so much I don't even have Skippy like in my lineup at all. Like I'm just like. It's freaking nuts. Satilla needs to be primary for counters. He doesn't need to be. But you could use HQ Attila if you want the anti-swarm. Yeah, because he's got a high enough skill damage where he's not going to be so affected by the debuff that Attila's giving yourself.
But this guy isn't a rally lead. you can't rally with this guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's like the whole thing with like Nevsky too, but people still rally with Nevsky. It's like,
yeah, but Nevsky doesn't have a
doesn't
skill that has to be attacking.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he doesn't have those stipulations to him.
Nevsky can definitely rally. This guy can't. You're losing what, 30% defense, 25% skill damage, and the healing factor if he's not attacking troops.
Mm-hmm. Nev Joan, HQ William, Guan Sargon, Skippy Tariq, Boudica ZL, and Trajan Ethelflaed. That seems pretty sound lineup. Rally is a troop, I believe, Syriax, yeah.
Yeah, so a counter rally 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope I heard August. I hope it's another month or two. And then after that, I need, please give us a break. It's been a very fast year with Commander release. I got caught off guard from the Heraclius release. Like I didn't think that we were going to be getting a new meta leadership commander, that was needed.
Well, that's what it is. Usually the leadership is the break, because usually no one does the leadership commanders. Well, the last one that was worth the hell was Trajan.
Trajan.
You had Solon, which was, he's complete dog shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honda's okay. I didn't do Honda. I skipped him.
I skipped him too.
But then they did Heraclius, and I was like, YSS.
And it was weird with him because all the testing pointed out that he wasn't good, and then they used him in KVK, and he's meta now. KVK.
Yeah, he's nutty. Yeah, Heraclius is crazy.
Yeah, they need to do something, but yeah, I think Neptune's right. I don't think that was it Neptune who said it? Oh no, Dama. Yeah, I don't think this signals that they're taking a break. I think they're just going to keep kind of releasing them as is, because they need the players like DB and the whales to kind of keep chasing the carrot, keep pumping that money into the game.
If they would do, I think what they should do every, what do they do now? Every 3 to 4 months.
Something like that, yeah. It's been a little bit faster this year, but it's usually every 3 to 4 months.
I'm thinking if they did it every 6 months, and the wheel was a choice of each troop type commander you wanted to do. So, for example, like a wheel would be this guy, or ZL, or whoever the new infantry commander is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they did that twice a year, that way that slows it down, but it gives you the option of choosing, all right, I'm a Cav main, I want to do this guy, or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So it slows down, and not everybody you can't spin the wheel for, I think that would be, that's just my idea.
I always thought too, why don't they just give us the entire year of releases in one shot?
And you pick and choose. Yeah.
You pick and choose, you're still having people chase the carrot, but you're just giving us everything all at once, as opposed to, you could do an annual commander release type deal, but I guess that you might have I know they definitely try to keep the game interesting throughout the year, so I can see where that problem would kind of come into play. Yeah, less hype. You would have one massive event every year where here's all these commanders, but
that's why I figure twice a year, every 6 months would be, it slows down the current rate right now, but it also keeps that carrot for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Every 6 months, that way you get a wheel. Maybe add two more, like a wheel is a full week.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, that's just one of my ideas, because it's crazy to keep up with this shit. They say every 3 to 4 months, but you're dropping Greece, there's a new legendary.
Mm-hmm.
You just did Dido, you did Heraclius before that, you're doing both of these guys, and then you got infantry coming, and infantry is going to be crazy too. That's going to be another garrison.
another infantry garrison. Oh, I feel so bad for the infantry mains. They literally have no field to play with.
I just maxed Flavius, so that's probably wasteful, but we do have KVK coming up. So.
Yeah. 10 minutes left on the stream. Guys, I really appreciate the time again. Chat, we're going to open it up a little bit for questions if you guys have any for DB or for Mr. Todo. These guys are going to be going into registering for KVK, so expect to see them in KVK within the next upcoming weeks. They are going to be going for a Warriors Unbound, which looks like a pretty fun mode. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye on that KVK for you guys. I think I streamed a little bit of your guys' last KVK as well, so I'll definitely be in touch and make sure to pop in and give you guys some coverage when possible.
I usually send you some reports whenever.
Yeah, yeah. My Discord's always open. So chat, any questions for the guys? Gentlemen, if you have any questions for myself, and if nothing, then we'll start to kind of wrap it up. Prospect, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream.
Do you want to do a review of my? Up to you. I mean, you want to do it? I'll do it.
Let's save that. If you want, DB, you can. If you want to just do like a little video, like a screen record, and then send that to me on Discord, and then I can make that into a video for you. I don't want to push over 2 hours, because I know as soon when I was doing it with on stream the other day, or if you want, we can just do it on a stream one day if you want to like send me pictures and stuff. I started doing it with Sasuke from 2293, and I think we spent like a good just 40 minutes just kind of bullshitting about his account. So I know that'll extend the stream a little bit longer.
No, that's no problem. You asked, that's why I just wanted it. However you want to do it. I mean, I can jump in and do just like this and do a screen share. Is probably the easiest way.
Yeah, yeah. We'll line that up for another time. It's definitely oh hello. That's definitely something that I want to take a peek at, especially if you have more than just the Archer set.
I just got the leadership too.
Question for Dan: where are the delts? Oh, I forgot to bring them out for you today. Hunky shit. So sorry. Yeah, apparently it's a running joke now. Apparently I have nice deltoids. So. All right. So no questions for the guys. Got a super chat for the delts. Absolutely. See, he's here. X knows the deal. No questions for the boys. We'll wrap it up then. Again, I appreciate you guys. We'll do it as we always do. Last word, DB, I'll start with you, and then we'll give the king last word. Anything you have on your mind, State of Rise of Kingdoms, anything you want. The floor is yours.
They just need to as they upgrade, obviously commanders and all that other new stuff, they just need to update the rewards for all the events. I mean, it's still old school shit that, for the lower spender free-to-play players, if they did that, it would be huge, because this game literally is nothing without the low-to-spend free-to-play players.
Very true.
And as a spender, that's how I feel. I spend money, but I'd be spending on money on nothing if there weren't, the free-to-play low spenders. And they would update the rewards, it would go a long ways.
Which we should be seeing some of that a little bit. They did mention that in their last patch. So like Silk Road's going to be getting armaments and stuff like that. So
that's very good. Yes.
Yeah.
Stuff like that's really good.
Yeah, they're updating a little bit, but I think they could probably bring up base rewards a little bit more too. So, yep, definitely agree.
Like Golden Kingdom and that kind of stuff, that shit's just terrible.
Don't bring up Golden Kingdom here.
Yeah,
right. Todo, any last words? The king.
Not much. I think how the game is going, we're definitely in a transition period right now, and this upcoming months is gonna determine what's gonna happen with the game, the future of the game. So I do think the future of the game is gonna end up being 1-2 alliances, because that's kind of what Lillith is pushing, and I do think that's gonna end up being a good move, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've said that as well too on very recently, in the past few weeks, that the next couple months are going to be huge for Rise of Kingdoms and the health of the game and the community and stuff. And are people going to stick around? Are people going to continue to invest into the game and whatnot? So great minds think alike, not only in anime choices and troop type choices, but on where we're going with Rise of Kingdoms. So
hopefully that fixes. It should help with matchmaking as well. So.
Yes, yeah, I think it's going to, and I think that if they do implement the top 300 matchmaking style, where you can kind of pick, because they kind of teased to that too. that would definitely be interesting as well and give us a little bit more freedom, which I think is what, you know, leadership and kings and stuff, I think ultimately want. We want a little bit more freedom when it comes to matchmaking and, you know, who we want to go up against. And I think it'd be really good for the community too to see some of these kingdoms who, you know, might have rivalries against each other, just, you know, kind of chase one another and keep squaring off. And I mean, that's why, I don't know if you guys are into like, you know, UFC and boxing and stuff, but that's kind of the allure to those sports, is you'll have 1, 2, 3 fight series to see who really is the best on the matchmaking. So I think something like that would be really cool down the line.
Well, they have a weight class too.
Yeah.
Hey, you're this weight, this is who you fight. You know, that
Yeah.
if they would say something like that, that would be
that
would be a lot better to say, hey, here's your group of who you're going to be fighting, and they don't.
Yeah. Well,
They just give a bunch of BS of, you know, we're looking at this, we're looking at this, we're looking at this.
That's the other thing too that was on the update, which I thought was really interesting, is they added this S tier class, and I don't know if that's just for, you know, fluff or to kind of shut us up, but they've never mentioned S class before. It's just always been, if you're Imperium, you're an A seed. So we'll see. Hopefully it's a good sign on things going forward. It sounds like they are listening to an extent, and they're trying to do some things to kind of you know, push the game into a better state. I think they are hearing some things, but as I've kind of mentioned before, they're a little slow on what they need to do. So if they can kind of just quicken some of these things and some of these solutions, I think it'll be very good. But guys, thank you so much once again for kind of coming on and hanging out with me and chat. We will be back in another 2 weeks, guys, for King's Corner. That would be episode 5. I don't know who I will be bringing on just yet. If you guys have any recommendations, feel free to shoot them to me on Discord, leave a comment on this video or any of my videos, or feel free to contact me if you feel that there's any good people that would be to come on and entertain the community. Shinchi, yeah, yeah, that would be yeah, we didn't have the reference here, Yak, so you had to throw it in there. So nice little last minute buzzer beater on that one. But again, thank you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
For the boys, I will catch you guys later. Everyone enjoy the rest of your weekend. We're out. Have a good one. Peace.